So when it comes to Final Fantasy X, one aspect of it that is inherently controversial is Blitzball. There's a lot of people who enjoy this side water rugby sport that you can participate in with Tidus and a bunch of other characters and whatnot you can recruit throughout the game. There's a lot of people who love doing this to attain Wakka's ultimate weapon, for having another side thing to do in the game, for people that enjoy the sports element of it, of leveling up characters and participating in some side events outside of the story and the combat. That's all well and good, but then there's the other half of the fandom that thinks it's a waste of time. It's ridiculous that you have to do it all in order to get Wakka's ultimate weapon. It's either incredibly frustrating at the beginning of the game trying to win the cup for the story, and of course, just doing it in general as a side thing. So for this video, guys, I wanted to give my brief thoughts on Blitzball and Final Fantasy X. This is not a review of Final Fantasy X. Rather, I just want to give some opinions of my own and some experiences surrounding Blitzball, and then kind of leave it up to you guys. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of Blitzball. Were you really into it? Did you absolutely despise it? Let me know in the comments. And to give all of you context out there who have not played Final Fantasy X, or at the very least have no idea what I mean, I'm going to show some footage here, give you guys a bit of context about what Blitzball is from the game. And all footage used in this video will be linked in the description down below. Please go and check out the original creator of the video and support them there as well. Thank you. My experience with Blitzball in Final Fantasy X is basically limited. I only did the one required match when you reach the Lucas Stadium within the story itself, and to be honest, there is no real incentive to win the game outside of winning 10 power spheres and of course getting the cup. But in all honesty, you could lose this game and the story progresses just the same. It changes pretty much nothing about the game. But Blitzball, to me, I like the idea of it in concept. Underwater soccer rugby, where players hold their breath for long periods of time and participate in kicking the ball back and forth in an underwater stadium trying to score goals on each other. I like the idea of it in Final Fantasy X, and it fits the theme of Spira, it fits the theme of the story, as well as like Tidus's backstory and whatnot as well. Like with Jack, his father. There's a lot of connections that this has with the greater universe, and considering how this is Spira's only form of entertainment, because half the time they're terrorized by a giant monstrosity known as Sin destroying everything, Spira really doesn't have a lot of pastimes that are celebrated in the world other than Blitzball. I like the idea in concept of Blitzball, not only just for the aesthetics of participating in an underwater arena, but also the context and parallels it has with the greater story and narrative. I like the idea of Blitzball much more than I actually like participating in the sport. So I'm not gonna lie, guys, my opinion on Blitzball is it's not very fun to play. I didn't really care for it too much whenever I initially played the game. It's the first time that you play it, whenever you end up going to Luca, the Aurochs, the Besaid Aurochs, are the team that you play with, their stats are all terrible. It takes so much to try and win one of these games. And I was going into it thinking I'm going to do the best I possibly can. I'm going to try, strategize with my players, have the best formations I possibly can to understand. I figure I'm going to do all this and that, and I'll try and win the game. But the problem is, for a first-time player of Final Fantasy X back then, the instructions, there was so much information they unload on you, some of it didn't make sense. There's so many strategies and parallels with your first time playing against a team that has much higher stats, considered the best in the league at that point, that it's almost impossible to win the game. And quite frankly, at that point, I just don't think it's fully worth investing the time into to even invest in Blitzball, because at the beginning it's not worth it. It doesn't leave a great first impression. The main reason people are even going to be doing this is either A, it's a side thing that you can level up characters with, because you can recruit players from all over Spira. There are points when you get to save spheres and whatnot, like when you get to a save point, you can participate in a Blitzball game most of the time, unless it's like a crucial story moment. You can go to the arena and just teleport there and do a game, participate in a league. The concept is cool, but you have to find the players, you have to level them up normally, just like an RPG. You have to formulate your own strategies, you have to participate in so many matches for payoffs that aren't innately worth it, unless you're going for Wakka's ultimate weapon, which is another critique. There's a lot of people who don't like Blitzball that want to go for all the ultimate weapons of your party members. The only way you're going to get Wakka is if you win many, many Blitzball matches. And at that point, it's just not worth the grind. Because in the beginning, where it's incredibly frustrating to participate in, by the time that you have all the best players you could possibly accumulate in the game, it's too easy. It is a mindless button masher of strategy that you don't even need. It's incredibly easy. In fact, I've seen videos online where people will score a goal and then keep Titus or another character of the team in a corner and just let the clock run out. It's, at the very least in that case, it's just incredibly boring and repetitive for a weapon that, honestly, you could just customize a better weapon with Waka, with gameplay features available to you through Riku, or just buying a weapon yourself. Like, there's better options, is what I'm saying, to customize a weapon for Waka if his ultimate weapon is the only reason you're going through it. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of it. I didn't care for it too much when I first played it. Looking back on it even now, for any future playthroughs I do of it, I am not a huge fan of participating in Blitzball whatsoever. So I would say if you're interested in checking out some side content for Final Fantasy X, if you want to expand your experience, if you're into the idea of Blitzball, or you just really want that ultimate weapon, more power to all of you guys out there who enjoy that kind of thing. I hope your successes are very, very grand, so that way you can accomplish what you want to out of it. But in my opinion, Blitzball is cool in concept, but in execution, not a great addition to Final Fantasy X, I think, ultimately. And those are my brief opinions about Blitzball. Honestly, guys, outside of that, there's not really much for me to comment on, because Blitzball is just a side thing. Yeah, it's part of the main story at one point, but after that, it just becomes a side event that you can do if you really want to. So, not really too much to say other than didn't really like it too much. I like the idea of it more in the story. So, but again, let me know what you guys think about Blitzball in the comment section down below. Did you guys enjoy Blitzball? What kind of strategies did you guys implement? Did you do it for Waka's ultimate weapon? Did you have any positive experiences with it that would keep you going back to it years later? Did you absolutely despise Blitzball? Will you never visit again? Let me know any thoughts you guys have on Blitzball and Final Fantasy X in the comment section down below. I'd very much like to know what you guys have to say about this. But all in all, guys, this is it for this video. Outside of leaving your thoughts rather in the comment section, give the video a like if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel for future videos like Final Fantasy discussion content and Final Fantasy content in general, as well as retro video game reviews and videos surrounding that. But with that in mind, guys, thank you once again for watching. Until next time, Nostalgics, I'll see you guys next time.